Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week 4 of this Reddit Racing League challenge. We are headed off to Silverstone after let's say an okay result in Austria. Got the fastest lap point, came in the points at the very end. We're going to go ahead and see what we got. Nothing's going to give us an extra set of mediums. We're trying to hope to qualify on the mediums. The overall lap time seems to be a little bit quicker at the tail end, and with the amount of high-speed right-handers around this course, you really wear out that front left tire. And starting on the heavy fuel load on the soft tires really eats into those early on in the race. So it's kind of a little bit more ideal, I think, to go for potentially a one-stopper mediums onto softs at the end, so we're able to use those faster tires with a lighter fuel load. The two-stop is basically completely out of the question around this track. The pit lane is slow and you lose almost a full 30 seconds in there. So definitely not the opportunity to be going with there. But let's jump into the car, get our setup loaded, and kind of get ourselves a little bit of a banker lap on the softs at least on our setup. Then we'll come back in and we'll talk about it a little bit. I'll run you through what I've done with the car for this British GP setup. So on the soft tires, let's try to be one of the first cars out there. Let's get out on track, and we'll kind of run ourselves around the English circuit here. Very technical track, like double the corners what we had last week at Austria. We have a lot more corners going on this time around the track, so it looks like we might have gotten out ahead of some people. So let's try not to bin it exiting the pit lane. It's a bit bumpy. And see if we can at least set in a decent banker time. For a fairly high-speed circuit, there's a lot of corners around Silverstone here. It's it's a pretty technical track, but it's one that kind of suits my eye. I've had a good time driving it so far in this in the career modes. But it has a lot of high-speed corners, is really how it's set up. So it has a good average lap speed, but it is very twisty all over it. And a lot of named corners around here, built on an old World War II airfield. It sits kind of on top of a plateau, and has a few long straights, and then some pretty interesting technical sections, like high speed. The Magus and Beckett section that we are coming through right now, very quick under downforce there. You'll see when we do our actual quali lap, not just the outlap at lower speed. And it really is important to kind of carry speed through as much as you can. So let's get the engine turned all the way up, head through the second kind of little sector here, last sector here, stow, and into the last big chicane at the end. Try and get on the throttle nice and early and see if we can't bank in a good lap time. So here we are shooting across the start-finish line. We're headed down to T1 Abbey, which is flat out. You just pitch it in, carry the speed through turn 2, then get ready to head through Village. Hard on the brakes all the way down to third gear. Just kind of run it out, rev it up, drop down to second, get a nice short shift early on, and get the traction coming out. Get that first DRS line, open that up now for a long run down into Brooklands, which is the left-hander. And then Luffield, the long right-hander that sets you up for the last one. You kind of double apex this one, swing out wide and kind of dive back in. We're going to short shift again to kind of control the wheel spin as we come down the old main straight. That's why there's all the grid markers. And now down into Copse, which is usually flat. We're going to have a kind of a little bit of a blend just to make sure we don't run out wide. And now into Magus and Beckett. Let's see if we can control our downforce and our speed here. Get a good exit off the last corner here. Hit the second DRS zone and down the next little straight here. We run it out into Stowe, the last big high-speed corner. Get on the power nice and early, run all the way outside of the sector, find that 100-meter board, all the way down from 7th to 2nd. Nice short shift in there, pitch it in, get on the throttle nice and early, and carry as much speed as you can across the line.
Fantastic. That was the fastest lap.
28.5 is not going to do it. It's definitely going to be taken off of us pretty quickly. Let's turn the car down here. And get ourselves back into the pit lane.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
Thanks, Jeff. Got everything turned out. We're going to keep an eye on for the guys behind us as we head back to the pit lane. We don't want to take too much life out of these tires returning to the pit lane, because if we end up in the top 10, which at least that time I don't think is likely, we will have to start on those tires. So you want to try and conserve them as much as possible. Now I don't know if that orange McLaren on the map there is on a hot lap. Looks like he is. We're going to try to get down to Stowe here. Oop, missed the pit lane entrance. Let's just go ahead and go bonkers across. And pick up a warning for speeding the pit lane. I forgot that the pit lane entrance was so far ahead. Oops. Hopefully we don't make that mistake in the race. It looks like the McLaren was not on a hot lap there. He was just on a regular in-lap. But so far right now we are sitting P5. Unfortunately our teammate has not logged in yet, it would seem. Let's check Discord. Looks like he's not going to make it. So we are going to have not have to worry about his pit strategy. But the field is expanded. I think we've got, I think we're going to have 19 or 18 cars on the grid today. So that's going to be big, big numbers. Let's see here. 28.0 at the top right now. So he's on the mediums, though, so he could definitely go faster. Let's see, we got 17 in the lobby today. So that's quite a good number. Session theoretical best is a 27.8. But let's pop in and take a look at the car setup. And I'll show you what is going on for this setup.
1 minute 28.5.
Once Jeff stops talking. Okay, so first things first, it is a pretty high-speed circuit, but we're hitting the arrow first. Typically on a high-speed circuit, I say that in quotes, you would really want to crank the wing angles down. But, like I said, with this being a much more flowing high-speed circuit, you really want to utilize the downforce, especially since most of your straight lines are after high downforce kind of corners.
In the speed trap, 184.9 miles per hour.
So we've kept the car pretty balanced front to back. We've gone 5 and 5 on the wing, so basically dropping the wing angle by 1 click front and back, so a little bit more slippery in a straight line, but not super compromised. Transmission-wise, we're running a pretty open setup, 60% on the throttle, 60% off the throttle, really just to help the car rotate through those slow chicane corners. Really is going to be important and also opening that off on throttle adjustment is going to keep the tires from slipping in the traction zones coming out of those. Suspension geometry-wise, we are running just a little bit of extra front camber to really help the car lean into those high-speed corners and really kind of dart in a little bit more. We are running a little bit more rear camber than we typically would. The tires tilting in from the top, and that's to help the stability in those long corners, to really help the back end really sit down in those heavily loaded downforce kind of corners. The front toe has been fairly squared off, taking a little bit of that kind of pointing outside angle away to help out with the straight line speed. And then the rear toe has been also dropped a little bit. You kind of lose a little bit of a turn-in aggressiveness, but it's in favor of stability on the straight lines. Suspension-wise, we're running a fairly soft setup, not super soft as we've gone around other tracks so far this season. It is a purpose-built racetrack at this point, as opposed to like the proto city circuits that we've been spending a fair bit of time on earlier in the season. So 4 and 4 on the front and rear suspension, just soften them up just a little bit, allow the car to transfer its weight around the high-speed corners a little bit more. Anti-roll bars have been softened a little bit. Initially, the setup was a very soft on front and rear, but I've kind of strengthened up the front a little bit more to help with the turn in some of those higher speed corners. Front and rear ride heights.
Speed trap 184.9 miles per hour.
Jeff, you're so chatty. Front and rear ride height a little bit lower on the front than the rear, again to try and create a little bit of that rake to help with the understeer characteristics, keep the car pointing in a little bit tighter. Brake wise, my normal 83% brake pressure. Front brake bias is going to be about 58%. The track isn't super heavy on the tires, not crazy hard. Typically, we're going to gain lap time throughout the stint as opposed to lose it. And lastly, tire pressures. We've increased the front tire pressure just a little bit to help reduce the rolling resistance in that straight line, help those fronts last a little bit longer, and control the heat that's being generated on that front left a little bit more because you lean on it so hard. The rear tire pressure has been left pretty much smack dab in the middle to help out with those traction zones, but again, to kind of keep the temperatures controlled, keep the tire wear controlled. But it is really going to be important throughout the course of this race to watch out for the temperatures on that front left tire, because you can really lose a lot of lap time if you start overheating that front left. The car stops biting into those right-handers, and it just serves to slide more and heat more, and it becomes kind of this self-defeating combination. Let's go ahead and slap another set of softs on. Let's get out there. Let's run another lap. But we should have just enough time to run an out lap, a fast lap, an in lap, and then come and grab a set of medium tires. See if we can't put up a good time on those guys to qualify, and hopefully see if we can start on the mediums. Of course, if we are outside the top 10, we can start on whatever tire we want. So that's also an option. Forgot to underfuel the car a little bit. We're carrying a little bit more fuel than I'd like for a qualifying run. It looks like the Alpha is coming out right behind us as well. So Denelson is up towards the top of the list, as he's been pretty rapid in that Red Bull so far. Let's get the tires turned on, turned up, and get ready for a solid little qualifying lap here. Kind of an interesting track to overtake on. I mean, it's not impossible to overtake around it, but there is a lot of combination corners, so you can really kind of set one move up into another. But a lot of your DRS zones, they are aero limited coming into them, where you really are going to lose that front grip by following a car in front of you. So track position is going to be, decently important, but like I said, not impossible to pass around this circuit. Well, let's see what we can do for another flying lap here. Get a good run out of club here, the final complex of corners, turn it all the way up, and let's fling it into T1, carry as much speed as we can, coming through, and get ready for the heavy braking zone of Village. Very easy to lock your front left coming in to set up that left-hander, so really got to be careful on the brakes there, not to overcook it. You also can't really fling yourself down that little short chute. You really got to be pretty careful coming into there. Another thing about this track is the lack of real heavy braking zones for the most part around the track means it's a very energy hungry track as far as your electrical, your ERS. You definitely have to manage that over the course of the race. We've gone a little wide and invalidated that one. So because you spend so much time around this track scrubbing your speed through your downforce in high-speed corners, it's really tough to regenerate energy. So you have to kind of find your areas where you're going to not deploy. It's a shame you're on for a pretty good lap there. About 3/10 up. Now let's take the pit lane the way you're supposed to. Very slow pit lane speed. 37 miles an hour, 60 kilometers an hour is the real speed of it. But we were on for a good setup there. Somebody's using pit lane assist. Cheap, cheap. I don't believe in it. Alright, so we've kind of burned up that set, unfortunately, but we should be getting to the part of qualifying where the track is starting to rubber in a little bit more. And that'll allow us to try and see what we can set on the mediums. It's nice to see the, even a couple of races in, the field really expanding. I think right now we've actually got...
Our fastest lap is a 1:28.5.
We got 3:26, yeah. We're going to be able to do our medium run, and that'll be it. Yeah. Oh, it's a tough choice. Do I want to go out on the mediums, or do I want to go out on the softs? We're sitting P10 right now.
We're
Felix
second in
hasn't
the speed trap,
didn't put in a
202.9
time.
miles per hour.
Like, I've gone down into the 27. I could be starting in the top like 6 if I really put in a good lap. Now let's go for the mediums. Let's go for the mediums and try and see if we can't put a good lap in there and move ourselves up the grid a little bit. Hopefully we can outpace. I want to at least beat my soft tire time from the start, because then if I don't and I'm still P10, I'll be stuck on those soft tires and I'll get none of the benefits that I wanted. So let's see what we can do here. Get out on the track very slowly. Okay, we fall into P11, so if we don't improve, we will have tire choice to start on. Alright, so we'll run a fairly quick out lap here just to get the tires up to temperature. I haven't decided coming into Brooklands there whether it's better to just rev out in 7th or actually make the change up to 8th. It seems to be fairly similar pace-wise, and time-wise seems to be pretty close to the same, so I'm not 100% certain on the choice there. We are going to have to, on the medium tires, blend out into cops. We aren't going to want to run that wide. Somebody died behind us? I think somebody died behind us. Hopefully we don't run into any incidents on this final qualifying lap here. And we can put in a good lap time. Back end stepped out just a little bit under throttle there. We're going to lose a little bit of time down this front straight here.
30 seconds left in the session.
Bit of a lock up into Village. It's going to tighten that corner. Wheel spin, wheel spin, wheel spin. Come on. Ooh. Terrifying coming back onto the track right there. Okay. Damn it. Ah, carried just too much speed. Busted the wing off.
Be careful with the front wing. You've taken some minor damage.
Well, just got out on that exit curbing, which you can see is dangerous curbing. That little bit of astral on the outside, the exit of cops there. You get a little too wide, a little too aggressive on that, boom, around you go. But we are starting towards the back of the field, so we're going to have a tire choice, and we're going to have to kind of race our way through now. So let's get ourselves just pulled back into the pits. A little bit of an embarrassing run there. But hey, you can't nail them all, unfortunately. Let's get into the pit lane and see if anybody else is out running. It'll be time to move on to the race. So qualifying definitely could have gone better. Definitely could have gone better, but you know, mistakes happen. Two invalidated laps essentially really puts a damper on putting up a good time. Luckily we got that first banker in early. Let's take a look, see here. How far down have we slid? 27.0. Okay, we are down in 12th right now. Okay. Looks like everybody kind of finished up in short order. Collect our XP that we've really only been getting through this. So P12, any penalties? Anybody getting pushed down the grid for no reason? Nope. You're in good shape. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of field to try and work our way through. I think we've got good. We have the potential to have good pace overall. Race pace wise, we'll just see if the strategy works out for us. T1 can be a little bit of a mess coming in. So we're going to be very careful in the early stages of this race. Really just try and settle the car down, settle in with the guys in front of us, not be too aggressive on the moves. And also try not to, you know, bin the car off the track. Also important.
Okay, don't do anything reckless today. Just take it easy and we should have a good race.
Okay, let's start on the mediums. Go to about lap 15 on those bad boys. And reduce the over-fueling that they love to give us in the car. All right. 48 kilos. All right, so yeah, it's going to be the strategy. Make sure that's selected so we're not stuck on the other one. And say we are ready to race. And get ready for the formation lap and get the tires and everything up to temperature.
Okay, go through all the gears if you can. We need to make sure the engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tires and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool though, so don't go too high with the revs.
Come on. Oh god, he disappeared, I'm afraid. Where is he gonna reappear? Oh. F. F's in the chat, boys. Dead man. Dead man walking.
No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions looking good.
Alright, no threat of rain. Thank God for a dry race. I probably should have checked that before qualifying, honestly. See what the weather was going to be, but I didn't. Alright, we got the car pretty much worked up to temperature here. Just got to keep it up to temperature. And make sure that we're good to go. Brakes wise as well. Make sure your brakes are up. We lose a lot of brake temperature down this course because of all the long straights. Somebody rolling up behind us? Oh, pretty pretty clean. Got Dayman behind us this time, and he went full yeet into turn 1 last week, so hopefully he doesn't do that to us today. We're gonna try and get to the outside lane early on. Try and get to the outside portion of the track. For turn 1, I really don't want to have to try and battle with stuffing it up the inside, you know? A little dangerous in that regard. But he's on mediums behind us, so he should get a pretty similar getaway to us. Okay.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as...
And here's the 5 red lights up. They hold us for a little while. Lights out. Away we go. Decent start so far. We're going to be a little tentative. Couple guys off. Going to take it nice and easy. All right. So after the turn 1 mayhem, we somehow just gently glide our way through. I'm just going to make sure that while the pack is all bunched up like this, we're going to try and be nice and careful with what we do.
We're in a good position.
They're on a faster tire than us, pretty much all around us right now. But we should be able to handle. So first time through Maggots and Beckett's. The AI is usually pretty slow through here. We'll see how our human friends are doing. Looks like Voki's off and running a little slow. Can we grab a little slipstream, a little tow? Into stow. No, not quite. We're going to go ahead and avoid going into the back of him. He's running a little bit wide there. We're going to... Had a thought of going around the outside of Onslaught there, but we're going to just go ahead and hold station. We're going to be careful through that. Take our nice... Oh, come on! How did the back end get so loose?
Your front wing is
What
damaged.
on earth
Expect
happened
a lot
there?
of understeer unless we replace it.
Oh my god, what happened? Well, time to change the strategy. God, what on earth happened to the car? Why did the back end just lift on me? Well, we're dead last. Come on. I've taken that corner flat so many times.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Now we gotta limp our way around this entire track.
Understood, copy that.
I have no idea why the back end just went absolutely airborne on me there. There wasn't even anything I could do to catch it. It wasn't even like a spin, a gradual spin, like a quick spin. It just like the back end just became completely unloaded for some reason. Well, that's going to cost me a ton of time. Damn it. God damn it. Alright, well. Unfortunately, we also, in the process, torpedoed straight into the inside wall and lost front wing, so... Ooh, that's frustrating. That is very, very frustrating this early on in the race. Well, let's go ahead and slap a new wing on, new tires. I've run so many laps, like, in practice and in preparation for it, and
Release.
just gotta love the absolute no reason back end step out. We were all clean. We made it nicely through the turn 1 mayhem, and we just got boned. I'm gonna have to watch that back because I
these
don't.
tires now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
I don't think I even did anything particularly wrong there. I've carried through Abbey so many times
Okay,
like that.
entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
All right. Well, we get to run around on our own for a little while here. Let's see if we can hammer in some good laps while we've got tires. 42 seconds back right now. His worst case scenario right now is we can try and steal the fastest lap point at the end if we're not really catching anybody. We'll drop in, grab another set of fresh set of soft tires when the fuel loads drop.
DRS to
And see what we
overtake,
can
please.
do.
Push now.
3 seconds back. I just have no idea what happened there. Alright, stay within myself. Why is the car so... Why is the back end just so frickin' garbage right now? I wasn't even pushing. I was not even pushing through that final corner. I don't understand what this car is doing right now. I'm at an absolute loss for words right now. Like I'm about to be put a lap down. I'm about to become a freaking back marker already. 57 seconds. Come on. Just no grip. There's just no grip. Tires aren't even overheating. Why? Why does the back end just have... Why is the back end just so nothing right now? I just have nothing in the rear end here. Well, you know what to say, head down. Get a couple of seconds out of that. Let's settle in, let's get these rear tires gripped, this hard tire compound gripping up. Can go to the end, it's going to be tough. But they will go to the end. First marker, let's try and catch fast 6. And save some fuel. And hope that some people make some mistakes. Looks like they're minute 5 off, minute off the back. Unbelievable. I'm flabbergasted that the car had such little rear grip through through turn one. Like, why did it just bin all of a sudden? Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Okay, Damien's made a mistake. He's up the road. There's another loss of grip. The car just decided to shoot out towards the outside and get out of the throttle again. Don't know why you're behaving this way, car.
The car in front is 13.9 seconds.
And he's 21 seconds off the next guy. There's another sweet four-wheel slide. Well, when the leaders come through, we're going to be ghosted, so we don't have to worry about getting out of their way at all. Maybe we can grab some slip or some DRS off of them if we're lucky. But right now, looks like lucky is not the order of the day. Not the order of the day at all so far. I did test for this contingency. I have come on, tires. Come on. Man, why does this car just not have anything, any grip anymore? I did run a practice race with this setup on hard tires from lap 2. I did run basically the full race distance on these tires before. It makes it, but it's not fast, I'll tell you that. Like one of the leaders is already in for his stop. We've got one of the leaders right on our tail. Such a frustrating way to start this race.
The gap to the car ahead is 13.6 seconds.
I would have been less annoyed if that happened like during the second stint, so I would at least have a chance to like run with the front group. But the fact it was on freaking the first real flying lap, and I have to watch it back because I feel like I was basically through the majority of the corner, and then all of a sudden it was just like, nope. The back end just decided that it no longer wanted to be at the back. It wanted to rush to the front. Still holding about 13.7 right now behind J-Man. Not the way that I wanted the race to go at all. Now I'm just afraid. In practices and everything, I had such confidence going through T1 flat with this downforce setup. They're like, I never lost it through turn one in that way. Like in all the practices, I had so much confidence to really push it through there and hustle. But now I just have this doubt in my head of, is the car gonna stick in literally any corner now? It's not a good feeling to have. But, you know,
Battery charge
it's the
is
life
low.
of racing.
If we turn down the ERS deployment, we can harvest more energy.
Don't tell me what to do, Jeff. I'll do it when I feel like it. Still hovering at 13.7. We're just really not catching Dayman in front of us at all. Alright, let's recharge. $14.1. See, now it's sticking like a champ. Our only hope is that Dayman is also catching somebody, or that somebody else makes a mistake. Otherwise, this is going to be a pretty boring race. Trundle around at the back, coming up near the, getting close to the halfway mark. About 13 will get us halfway. Two spins is not how you want to run a race at all. We're up a full half second on our best lap and we're still losing ground. Come on, tires, fight, fight. We've managed to not fall a lap down, thus far at least. Beam Tech on a 131.0. Good run. Too quick. This next split, 13.2. We're starting to reduce.
2 seconds.
Starting to come down a little bit. Looks like Chuck made his pit stop. He's in. Alright. He's going to be on a faster tire than us. Wise move, Chuck.
The battery is low on energy. Reduce ERS deployment.
Alright. Eyes forward. Eyes forward, eyes forward. we're not the last car running anymore, but we're darn close, and he's on a much faster, fresher tire. I have my doubts of being able to hold this position throughout the race. Now our real only goal is to, keep the car alive. 11.9 back. Gotta save some energy through this last sector. Really hoping to be able to, fight with some people. Lost some time at 12-1. Lost 0.2 through that last sector. I don't know if we're going to be able to drop Chuck either. He's still hanging in there. Okay, got those 0.2 back through Sector 1. Let's see if we can keep them through Sector 2 here. I'm going to do a lot of energy and fuel managing now at this stage of the race. I'm turning down the energy for a lot of the slower corners. Ran a little wide there. And really save fuel through Maggots and Beckett's here. Not a big not really using a lot of fuel or not a lot of accelerating until the very last corner. So you can save, some smidgens of fuel throughout that. Nice, we picked up a good chunk there. So he seems to be a little better in the final sector than us. Starting to reel me. We might be able to look after our tires a little better than him. 11 flat. Caught him by about a second that lap. It's gonna be close. Let's not do that.
Green flag.
Alright, so Chuck's gonna be off of our back. 10-6. Is there anybody up ahead of him that we might have an opportunity to chase down? Probably not, since we made just an absolute mockery. Real unfortunate, because it looked like a lot of other people had issues through the first lap.
Caution, caution.
Felix is out. Or not out, but he's off. Okay, it's going to be another chance for us here. So 11 laps left to go. How are we doing on catching the boy up ahead, Damon? Trying to save some of this fuel.
Ahead is 10.7 seconds.
I'm going to save fuel down this stretch here. We just need to be pretty on it to really get up to him. That's not on it. That's stepping the back end out for no reason. Come on. I don't know what happened to the rear grip. Don't know what happened. You're good. Lost a lot of time though. Lost a lot of time through that. And 7, pretty much on the same number there. Just trying to conserve some of this energy. Oh, turned it way too early. That's a terrible run through that. That's going to lose me a good like 4 or 5 tenths. I'd not be surprised if he was back up over 11 seconds at the next split. And 7, okay, so it held steady. About 2 tenths off of our best, so didn't lose me as much time as I thought it would. But definitely lost me time. Come on, car, grip up. There we go. Then fuel back down, 3 maggots and buckets again. A pretty solid run through there. 10.6, didn't really make any ground on him though. We're gonna run out of laps trying to chase him down, I think. Closing up. I'm like just getting little peaks on the mini map of him from time to time. 10.6, still even.
We expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
That's fine, Jeff. Only about 9 laps left to go.
Gap to car in front is 10.3 seconds.
10.3, so we gained a little bit of time on him that time. We're opening up a pretty good gap to Felix, 11.3 now. Well, this weekend was one of, I guess the theme of this weekend was mistakes.
Energy harvesting, reduce ERS deployment.
9.8. Made mistakes in qualifying. Made a big mistake on lap 2 of the race here. And that has put us completely out of contention. This is a bummer. I mean, we're still going quick. Come on, car, grip. There we go. Just gonna run out of laps trying to catch him. We're just not going to have enough laps. That's disappointing. That's very disappointing.
The gap to the car ahead is 8.9 seconds.
Yeah, only 6 laps left to go. Definitely not going to have the oomph. Your gap is to Felix behind. Whenever it pops up, that's going to dictate what, 20.5.
You're increasing the gap to the car behind by a few seconds per lap. Keep this up.
Yeah, I think we're going to probably dive in, grab a set of softs, turn everything up to 11. And even though we won't get the point for fastest lap, we will, you know, feel better about ourselves. See what the gap is next lap. It's 21 seconds back. I think if we grab that set of tires, we'll be able to race him the rest of the way home as well. Yeah. May as well play the spoiler to the fastest lap, you know?
Okay, we can take you this lap.
We're going to come grab those soft tires. Especially because these hards are rather unhappy at this stage, I would say. And we'll bang in for fastest lap point here. And then maybe we'll even race Felix the rest of the way. At least build, you know, create some excitement somewhere around the track here. I'll tell you what, the edited version of this video is going to be pretty quiet. Alright, make sure it's all good to go. We'll go in, grab a new set of tires. And we'll go for something good here. Come on.
Complete, go now.
Okay, so Felix is going to go by us. We should be well clear of Chuck, though.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Yeah, he's 30 seconds back.
Battery charge is high. Let's increase ERS deployment to up the pace.
Alright. Get a feel for what these tires are capable of at the moment. Right now is quite a bit.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Alright, let's turn up, let's go for it.
this engine mode much longer. We're about
Be quiet,
a
Jeff.
lap over target. Drop down to mix too soon.
I'm quite aware, Jeff. Thank you.
The gap behind us is 10.3 seconds.
Okay, here we go.
Brilliant. Nice move. You're putting a good distance between yourself and the car behind.
Woo! Back in, stepped out. Scary, scary.
Our gap to the car in front is 37.2 seconds.
Alright, well, we've got the fastest lap on. It's close. They might be able to beat it. I wasn't perfect, especially through the last sector, having to try and make an overtake during it.
There's
But,
3 laps of fuel remaining.
Tells me that I've got some kind of pace around here at least. Jeez. It's unfortunate. I've definitely got, got some pace. But not enough to, not make a mistake, you know? Three more laps. Almost done with today's trip around Silverstone. Unfortunate day, but it's racing. Maybe I was just a little too aggressive carrying the fuel in there, but the fact that the spin came as I was like unloading the car. It's not like I spun out on apex when the car's at its max load. It's as I was decreasing the load, the back end just decided it didn't want to be at the back anymore. And that was strange. That was very strange. That's not how you'd expect the car to react, at least. It was unfortunate that it couldn't have been just, a spin. It had to grip up and then steer right towards the outside wall at the same time. That was also the most unfortunate. And it's not a short track to work our way around. Hey, Spectator Jeppy, I hope you noticed me diving into the pits for the sauce and going for that fastest lap. That's going to be about the only highlight I've got today. No flags behind. Definitely could have been in the mix with all the mistakes that are coming on these last couple of laps. But alas, was not meant to be.
We've been awarded a time penalty.
Oh,
We'll go against our
time
finishing
penalty.
time at the end of the race.
Kick a man while he's down, why don't you? That's alright. That's okay, I've got more than 3 seconds on Felix behind. Got 18 seconds on Felix. Yep. That's the end of this one. Unfortunately, finished a lap down. Managed to steal a fastest lap point off at the end there, but disappointing. Disappointing to say the least. Alright, looks like just about everybody else is finishing up their laps. Looks like Dayman is on his. We'll switch over to him and see him as he crosses the final line. Boomtech on the top step of the podium this time. Looks like he avoided enough. Looks like we got a Williams up there. After the double podium from the Red Bulls last week, no Red Bulls on the podium. We'll see how they finished up. We'll take a look at the ending results when they pop up here. Yes, thank you for some XP. At least snagging some fastest lap points. Just trying to do that at least. Alright, yeah. Everybody picking up penalties all over the place. Golly right there. Dennison there. You're 15th. But we managed to go fastest lap. Grab that 1:30.119. But otherwise, pretty disappointing day for us. 6 seconds of penalties there, but man, really disappointing to see the back end of the car just absolutely go nuts on us that early on in the race. But as we get ready to head back into the lobby, kind of chill out for a moment, that is the end of today's racing. Not exactly what we wanted to do. I'll have to check and see what the next race is up. I'll tell you guys what that is when I cut down the edited version of this. I'll do the research there, but yeah, definitely disappointing to see. Definitely not happy about the spin through Abby on the second lap. The car just unloaded on me and, well, busted wing and entire day compromised. Luckily, we were able to make something out of it, pick up a couple positions towards the tail end of the field, and then also have enough of a gap to dive in, grab a fresh set of tires, and go for that fastest lap of the race. But I will catch you guys next time. Thank you all for joining me. See you around. Peace.